Welcome back. Today we're looking at a piece critiquing a Daily Wire host while also promoting the creator's merch and YouTube mentorship. Let's dive straight into the structure and flow. So, first off, the core critique here is strong. Really sharp analysis of Reagan Conrad. The whole tasteful clickbait thing, like, wait, Reagan's gone? And why Daily Wire seems to be, struggling with the algorithm despite all their resources. That part's clear.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. And that sharpness, it builds value fast, which is what you need if you're selling expertise, right? But here's the friction point. That powerful momentum you build with the critique, it keeps getting broken up by these pretty aggressive sales pitches. And that really hurts the flow, And viewer engagement suffers. So the weakness we're seeing is this. You've got these high-pressure, quite detailed sales calls just scattered all through the main analysis. It pulls the viewer right out every time. Like you apologize for not uploading, which creates the connection, but then boom, it pivots straight into a 20% merch discount plus this very specific offer about personal video responses for the first 30 bundle buyers.
Yeah, it's like shifting gears from expert analyst to QVC host in a split second.
Exactly. And the mentorship program pitch does the same thing. That link just pops up right in the middle of an argument, just after you've critiqued Daily Wire's spending on a new set. So the point you're making about their strategy, their inefficient spending, it kind of gets lost because the viewer suddenly has to process this whole other thing about a high-ticket mentorship program. It's just too much cognitive load right then.
I see. So even if the sales pitch is relevant overall, dropping it in like that feels almost like a bait and switch when someone's there for the analysis.
That's the risk, yeah. So our suggestion, decouple the detailed sales stuff from the main narrative. Find specific, predictable places to put the full promotion. That should really cut down on the audience friction. You want them hooked on the critique, the drama of the strategic failure, not, mentally calculating bundle deals and expiration dates. So for concrete examples, maybe think about creating a dedicated sponsor break. A little audio sting or something. Put it after you close out a major point. Maybe after you finish dissecting that Isabel Brown paid ad strategy. That signals a clear shift. The detailed pitch lives there.
Okay, so a dedicated spot. But what about mentioning it elsewhere? Do those just go away?
No, not necessarily. You can still have mid-narrative reminders, but keep them super brief. Like just a quick phrase, merch link below if you want to support the channel. Something like that. Quick and easy. Don't list the bundle requirements or the 5-day expiration window during the analysis. That stuff belongs in the break or the description box.
And the mentorship plug? How does that fit better?
That's crucial. Make sure the pitch connects directly to the lesson you just taught. Frame it professionally first, then give the call to action. Something like, look, understanding YouTube like this is exactly why I'm launching my mentorship. Then maybe you briefly mention your brother's success story as proof, but lead with the value connection. It keeps the focus on strategy, not just interrupting with a sales story. Keep it segmented, professional.
Right. Cleaning up that flow feels like job one. But it also makes me think, if the product you're ultimately selling is high-level mentorship, the critique itself needs to project that authority, doesn't it? Let's talk about it. You do use the low view counts really effectively. That 11,000 views on a huge channel. That number powerfully makes the case that Daily Wire doesn't get YouTube. And that's great ammo for the mentorship.
Absolutely. That data point is gold, pure gold. And this is the key thing for critique too, to really maximize the credibility for that mentorship program, especially for serious applicants willing to pay top dollar, the critique needs to consistently operate at a higher level. It needs to move from what can sometimes feel like personal rivalry towards a more dispassionate, objective analysis of strategic failure.
Okay, and where specifically is it falling short on that front right now?
But hold on, isn't some of that edge, that drama, kind of necessary for YouTube to get the clicks in the first place? How do you critique sharply without just sounding boringly objective? That's a really fair question. Views matter, of course, but we gotta keep the end goal in mind. Selling high-value mentorship. The tone has to match the price point and the strategic seriousness. You absolutely keep the sharp critique of the operational failures, lack of channel ownership, running ads badly on a new channel, all that stuff is great. But you filter the language. Focus the criticism on the system's failures, the strategic blunders, rather than making it sound like a personal takedown of the individual involved. You want to sound like the expert strategist, not just someone settling a score. Let's make that concrete. So when you're hitting those low view counts, focus purely on what it means for the algorithm. You could say something like, look, when subscribers don't click, YouTube simply won't push the video out. That's a fundamental system failure. See? Technical, objective. Avoid those loaded phrases like little crappy videos or you're still irrelevant. Those tell us how you feel, but they don't necessarily teach a potential client how to run their channel better.
Okay, so keep the intensity, but aim it squarely at the strategy, not the person.
Exactly right. Or take the Reagan-Isabel comparison. You can frame that as a strategic hiring mistake, maybe saying it's like hiring a Walmart version of Brett Cooper. Okay, that critiques management's decision-making, their confusion maybe, but then resist the urge to offer like a follow-up video pitting the girls against each other. Instead, keep the focus tight on performance differences, the strategic value of, say, off-script debate skills versus the poor engagement you get when someone reads a script like a robot. That shows you understand performance metrics and strategy, not just personal feelings.
I get that. Yeah. The viewer should walk away thinking, wow, this person gets YouTube strategy better than a huge media company. Not just, wow, this person really doesn't like that host. The first one sells mentorship. The second one just, well, wins an internet fight.
Precisely. Which kind of leads us nicely into the third point. Collaboration. Using the collaborator echoes from above, that definitely adds punch. It provides a great contrast and helps land some of the more aggressive counterpoints, especially challenging Reagan's claims about platform size. It brings good energy.
Yeah, Echoes hits hard. That raw audio really hammers home the engagement numbers, which, like you said, are crucial to the argument.
No doubt, it's effective content. I'm just wondering, though, how is that raw energy actually integrated? Because while the collaboration adds that necessary punch, the way you transition into an out-of-echo segment feels, well, a bit jarring. It seems to momentarily break the host's your otherwise really clear structure and control over the argument. So here's the structural weakness as we see it. You mentioned Echoes is gonna address all the crap, and then you cut straight to these really charged, kind of loud audio clips, but they aren't immediately framed or contextualized by you, the main host. So this sudden blast of raw outrage, you know, the clip like, Reagan Shorty, your last 2 videos got 11,000 views. He's giving you a platform. It can feel like it comes out of nowhere, almost like a tangent of pure reaction, which could distract from the specific strategic points you're building. You bring in this strong voice, but it feels like you might lose the reins for a moment.
Okay. So it feels less like the host is using the collaborator as a strategic tool and more like you're just handing the mic over completely for a bit.
That's a good way to put it, yeah. So the suggestion here is to introduce the collaborator with a much clearer strategic purpose for their segment. Frame it so their input serves as direct, powerful evidence for your main argument, rather than just being a separate burst of reaction or, outrage. You need to stay the conductor of the whole piece. For actionable steps, try framing it before you play the audio. Tell the audience why they're about to hear this. Maybe something like, now, to really illustrate this point about platform size and actual influence, we asked Echoes from Above to dig into her engagement numbers and give us a reality check. That sets the stage. The viewer knows what to listen for.
Right. So the audio becomes an intentional piece of data, not just an emotional outburst.
Exactly. And then this is key. You need to step back in immediately afterward to synthesize it. Bring it back to your core argument. So right after that clip where Echoes drops the view counts, the 11K versus, say, your Zuke example with 885K, you, the host, need to come right back in, maybe say, so as Echoes confirms, even with a massive promotional machine behind you, if you fail to grasp the core YouTube algorithm, you end up with mediocre performance. And that, folks, is precisely the kind of strategic gap my mentorship program is designed to fix.
Gotcha. Committing that evidence explicitly back to the mentorship reinforces the value proposition again and again. It justifies why someone should pay for that expertise. Okay, that ties it all together nicely. All right, so let's quickly recap the 3 main actionable suggestions. First, really refine that video structure. Centralize the detailed sales pitches into specific, maybe marked segments. Get them out of the main critique flow to keep things smooth and professional. Stop doing discount math mid-argument. Second, elevate the tone. Filter out that personal, kind of vindictive language. Keep the critique sharp, but focus it on strategy and system failure. That builds the authority you absolutely need to sell a high-ticket mentorship service effectively. Be the expert strategist, not just another voice in the online fray. Right. And finally,
Integrate that collaborator, echoes, more strategically. Frame their input clearly as evidence supporting your points, and then synthesize it immediately afterward. Don't just let the raw audio hang there. Make it serve your main argument. All these changes really are about boosting your professional authority and making both the critique and the mentorship offer as impactful as possible.
Exactly. And we genuinely think applying these tweaks could really strengthen the piece and help achieve those goals you've set out for the mentorship. So we definitely encourage you to take this feedback, maybe rework the material, and feel free to submit it again for another look down the line.